Welcome back to another session on identity theft awareness training, and I have the great honor and privilege of being invited in by Mr. Pete Garcia with the U.S.-Mexico Chamber of Commerce. Pete?
Good to see you again, Frank.
Thanks for having me back again.
Well, thank you. You know, last time we were talking about identity theft and so forth, but how many types of identity theft are there really?
Well, you know, the average person thinks that identity theft involves their credit. Matter of fact, I had a guy up in Arkansas, he said, my credit's so bad, I hope they take it, right? And a lot of people have been there, but folks, that couldn't be further than the truth. Identity theft, it involves character, criminal, medical, social security, passports, driver's license, your social media. I mean, how many of us today,
Wow.
We're on LinkedIn for our professional profile? I mean, I've got almost 8,000 connections, and if somebody destroys me on social media, it can be devastating to my business. But then we also have professional licenses. I have a good friend. I've known him since I was 16, and he was a victim of identity theft. And the identity thief was a pedophile.
Wow.
And as a result of it, this gentleman lost his career in financial planning, public speaking, because he was a victim of identity theft. And unfortunately, with identity theft, we're guilty until we prove our innocence.
Wow.
In real law, we're innocent until we prove our guilt. And TWIC cards, Pete, we're in Houston, Texas, petroleum capital of the world. How many of these companies, if the employee has a TWIC card to get into secured areas, they become a victim of identity theft? They don't have it. And then the last one is impersonation.
Impersonation.
Impersonation, where they actually go out there and pose as us and conduct business in our name and then don't fulfill. And then we're the ones that lose a lifetime of building our credibility, could be gone like that.
Wow. Wow. I've heard you also talk about digital DNA. Tell me a little bit more about that.
I think people need to be aware that how much data is out there. You know, when I went to my first school was St. John's, Cambridge, Massachusetts, 1956. They still have my Social Security. They still have my date of birth. Every YMCA, every Boy Scout, the Army has lost my data 4 times.
Why don't they get rid of it?
Well, it's too hard, it's too expensive to purge, okay? And so, but every military record, driver's license, credit card, light bill, voter registration, hunting license, fishing license,
Wow.
Our digital DNA is so broad, it only takes one bad apple in one company, even a third-party vendor to that company, to compromise the entire database.
So is it possible for me to protect my info?
Yeah, a gal told me one time, she came up at the end of one of my workshops and she said, I'm never going to be a victim because I shred my mail and then I put it in the burn pile. But again, how do you go back and protect all the data from the digital DNA? And it's almost impossible. You know, I used to say, Pete, it's not a matter of if you become a victim, but when. But now, because there's so much data out there and the breaches are so horrific, it's not a matter of if, it's not a matter of when, it's a matter of how many times. And
But aren't there companies protecting my data?
yeah, I wish there were, but you know, some of them, and we're going to talk about that in one of our other reels about the different type of monitoring and restoration. But one other thing I want to point out, and this is so powerful, is our children and our grandchildren.
I just spent the weekend with my grandkids and I wonder about their future.
Yeah, so let's stop and think about it. Most kids don't have a credit report till they're 18. Now, if we put them on a credit card that we have as parents, we can get them a credit report when they're 15, 16. But the greatest amount of them never have a credit report till they're 18. And the crooks know this. So what they do, Pete, is they take the child's Social Security number, they match it up with another name in another jurisdiction, and they run unabated until the kid turns 18.
Wow.
Then they fill out the FAFSA form, want to get higher education, want to go to college, and their chances of a good job, their chances of credit, their chances of going out and getting a home are destroyed because of a thief somewhere behind the internet.
Well, I want you to come share that with our members at the Chamber of Commerce.
I'd be happy to, and I appreciate you being here today.